The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway Project is proving to be a controversial project. In this video, I want to quickly talk about demolition and compensation. When it comes to a project like this, I'm talking about a project of this magnitude. Definitely there will be a lot of properties that will be demolished, and this is the reason why there has been a lot of controversy. But in the defense of the government, I'm not defending them by the way, but I'm just talking about what is out there in the public domain, that they said they've had notices served to properties that will be demolished. The question that I do have though is that have they really done the proper consultation the way it's supposed to be done? And when you look at it as well, you might also argue in terms of the government, in terms of the right of way. So if some properties already encroaching on the right of way, so which means that it's not really the government property. I mean, the notable one, all of the property that we demolish are important, but the notable one is the landmark beach resort, so which is really a big business, and they are arguing that even though it's not the whole of the business that will be gone, but part of it, so to saying, if part of it will be sort of like the part of it will be removed, then it's going to be a case of that part that is removed is probably going to have a huge effect on the remaining part of the business. So, but of course, compensation will be paid, but I do have a question mark on the compensation as well. Like, if we're talking about compensation, this is something that's supposed to be done before demolition being carried out. What about personal properties where people possibly live in, or shall I say maybe even businesses, so for them to relocate their business or to relocate their residences, it's very important that compensation have been paid before before the demolition will be carried out. So and I think this is a huge lesson as well for people in terms of I don't know how things work properly in Nigeria in terms of when you are buying a house and the land searches, but of course in the UK where I live, I do know, where in my little capacity I know a little bit about how you have to do you have to pay for a lot of land searches to be done before you acquire a property, and this is the period where you are going to get information like, is there a pipeline under your property? Is your property going have some infrastructure beneath it that is that might likely affect it in the future, or maybe it's a floodplain that the flood maybe not happening now, but do happen maybe every once in 10 years or once in 100 years, all this sort of information, and then whether you are encroaching on the right of way where maybe a major infrastructure is likely to come soon, to that area. Is about just the rule of law and about the written, about the legality of things, like say for example, right of way is right of way. So and government is one that own the land as well. So the government is one that own the land, but even government owning the land use act and all of that, they still have to do things in the proper way. It has to be done in a proper manner, not just doing it based on like, okay, we can do whatever we want. I think I read about a particular developer actually who said which the estate will be affected as well, and it was a case of like they built the houses, or they've collected money, or they sold it to people, and what will be the fate of those people? And in a simple way, it's supposed to be a case of this it is supposed to have been the case of compensation already being paid before those property will be demolished, and I think that's the proper way to do it. So this project definitely has been into a lot of controversial things, that a lot of things have been said, and the project on its own, for me, I think it's a good project, but the question mark is at what cost? So at what cost in terms of finances, and at what cost in terms of environmental issues, at what cost in terms of, people's maybe means of livelihood, or means or people's real estate and people's assets. So and these are the question that's attached to it. So, but and there have been people saying as well, like, there are other projects that are being abandoned while starting another project. Well, it's good to raise those issues that the project that are already going on should be completed, but I don't think you need to complete one project before you start another one. It's so I mean, questions can be raised about the cost, of course. And like, is it going to be done like double or triple of what is supposed to be done for? And comparing it to other projects, maybe not even in Nigeria, in other part of Africa, another part of the world. But definitely the project on its own, I think, is a good thing. But it's just those concerns and issues around it. So that's the thing. And then, of course, lastly, it's a lesson, like, when you are getting any property, it's always good to do due diligence in terms of, like, making sure every legal aspect of it has been taken care of right away, and all of those. And and compensation as well, when it's going to be, where is it going to be paid, or is it going to be something that will be there for a very long time, that people will be, and I think there are people that want to even take legal action against the government anyway. So whether compensation will go on, it will take a long time before they're going to pay it, and they're not going to pay it at all for some people. And of course, there are properties that are just built legally and that are illegally built anyway. So those ones, they're possibly not going to get anything. So we keep on watching the space. Whatever your thought is, leave in the comment box below. Thank you for watching.
Demolition has commenced in Landmark Beach. Demolition of certain structures.
For the past 3 days, the federal government has continued to sandfill the ocean and demolish structures along the first 3 kilometers of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, starting with Oniru Beach.
As the federal government begins the construction of the Lagos to Calabar Coastal Highway, demolitions at Landmark Beach in Lagos have begun. I'm currently standing at Breeze Beach Club, a members-only beach club that's the latest addition to the Landmark ecosystem. It is also ground zero for the demolitions on this beachfront. In a few days' time, all of this will be no more.